there, welcome to your mat. We're going to be doing a practice that is going to be very restful but releasing for the hips and the shoulders today. We are going to use a belt and a block if possible, the belt being the more important piece. If you don't have a belt, you can always use a dog leash or a belt from your pants or from a bathrobe, something like that would be great. So we will start lying down on your back, please. So just come to lay with your legs bent, your feet flat on the floor. Maybe have your legs as wide apart as your mat here. Let your eyes close. Let your shoulders rest. Let your thighs come to rest together so that your hips can fully and completely relax. Just allow for your awareness to be in the space of the abdomen here, watching internally the belly rise as you inhale, and the belly falls as you exhale. See if you can involve the sides of the rib cage here with your breath. Breathing in so that the belly as well as the rib cage expands. And then let it release. Separate your knees now. Take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, keep your feet anchored. Just let your knees both drift over towards the right. Keep your shoulders in place. As you inhale, legs will come back through center. Exhale, allow them to drift over to the left. We're just going to go back and forth here a couple more times. Just move at your own pace. Discovering where there may be tightness in your hips and in your legs and in your back on your mat at this time. Just making a commitment to honor whatever it is that you discover, being gentle with your body always. Coming on back to center. Walk your feet in now so they're more hip distance apart and nice and close to your bottom. You should be able to touch your heels here. Turn your toes in ever so slightly. Allow your navel to press down towards the ground and exhale all the air as you do that. As you inhale, allow for the back arch to return here, letting the belly lift, little space underneath the low back. And as you exhale, push the navel down, flatten the low back into your mat. It's a little pelvic tilt that's happening here. Inhaling to tilt your pelvis forward, create that little space underneath your low back. And then exhale to eliminate that space. Tilt your pelvis back. Tone your belly. We'll go one more time here. Inhaling, lengthening your belly. And exhaling, flattening your spine. Now hold on to that tone to the belly here. A little bit of a flatter sensation in the low back. Press into your feet. Lift your pelvis off the ground towards the ceiling. Keep some space for your throat. Exhale, lower the pelvis back down. And just before it touches the ground, we're going to inhale and rise back up again. Exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Let's just hold this one here at the top. Let your arms now leave the mat, float over your head, touching the back of your hands to the floor above you. Lift the pelvis a little bit higher if you can. And then simultaneously bring your hips to the ground, bring your arms back to the sides of your body. Excellent. Extend your right leg out on the mat and draw your left thigh in towards your belly. You can hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh, especially if you have knee issues. I recommend the back of the thigh. Hug that thigh into your belly here. Rock it gently from side to side. And here's where we're going to use the belt or the strap and just unroll it so that you can place your foot in the center of the strap. Slide your hands down so that your elbows rest down on the floor. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. You'll notice the grip here is very loose on the belt. Press your foot up into the belt and try to straighten up your leg as much as you can. Now just check that your kneecap here is pointing in the direction of your left shoulder and the back of your hip is anchored down into your mat. And then activate your right leg strongly here. And bring your awareness right into the sacrum, the center of the pelvis, right at the back. Try to expand the back of your knee joint as you pull your toes back towards your face. Elbows stay resting. Hands are nice and loose, and we pull the toes a little closer to the head. Take 2 more deep breaths here, right into the belly, right into the chest. And then you're going to gather up both ends of that belt into your left hand, nice and close to your foot. Right hand's going to go out to T position on the floor. Take a nice deep breath in, activate your right leg, press the thigh down, and as you exhale, start to move that left leg over to the left side. You don't have to come all the way to the floor, maybe just about halfway down. And then extend through both heels here. Check that the sacrum is still flat on your mat. Don't tilt your pelvis over to the left, but try to keep it flat. Pubic bone moving towards the right. Outer shoulders connected to your mat. Start to pull your toes a little closer towards your head. One more deep breath here. Slowly guide the leg back to the midline. Reach up with your right hand now, grab the belt. Left hand is going to come out to T position. Anchor down through your left hip here. Try not to let that left hip move. Straighten that leg as much as you can. And then start to guide your foot just across the midline of your body. It's only moving a few inches over, and you should start to feel some sensation somewhere along this back outer hip area. Pull your toes a little closer towards your head. Press down with the tailbone with the sacrum. Then we're going to take this left leg further over to the right now, letting the left hip now leave the ground. Drawing over onto the right hip, but keeping your left shoulder anchored. Just come over here to this side as far as your body is comfortable going. Try to relax your jaw. Soften your diaphragm and your belly space. Just let the body rotate here to release into the hips. Begin a slow return back to the starting position. Allow for your right leg now to bend. Place your foot on the floor. Grab onto the belt again with both hands here and start to pull a little bit closer. Now we're going to externally rotate the thigh. So hold on to that left knee, pull it off to the left side, and place the ankle up onto the right thigh. You can just remove the belt here. For now, keep that foot really flexed. And you're welcome to just stay here and enjoy a gentle opening, releasing of this hip. Or you could lift that right leg off the floor and start to draw the legs closer towards your body. There's no need to pull the legs in. Use your belly strength to help you. And maybe just rest your hands lightly on your shin. Both feet flexed. Shoulders open and relax down. Pull in using your belly muscles. Notice if you're holding your breath and try to give yourself 2 more deep, nourishing breaths here before we release. And then begin to slowly release those legs. Extend your arms over your head, your legs in the opposite direction, coming into a full body extension. Arch your back up off the floor. And then begin to draw your right thigh in towards your belly, keeping your left leg extended. Flex that left foot. Pull the thigh in and just rock it gently from side to side. Loosening up and lubricating that hip joint here before we begin to extend out. And then when you're ready, place your belts across the toe base here of this right foot. Slide the hands down so that the elbows can rest on the floor. Tuck those shoulder blades underneath you. Check that the kneecap is pointing towards your right shoulder before extending that heel up. And I would prefer for you to have your leg even lower to straighten the leg than try to have it up high and have the leg bent. You want to try to expand that knee joint as much as possible here. Activate that left leg. Flatten out your pelvis. Open up your chest. Pull the toes a little more towards your face. Re-extend and expand the back of the knee. Anchor down the outside edge of that right hip. Another deep breath here. And then let's gather up the belt here into your right hand, nice and close to your foot. Left hand comes out to T position on the floor. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, open up that right leg to the right side. Coming maybe about halfway down towards the ground. Check on the extension of the leg. Make sure you're not bending in the knee, if possible here. Moving the pubic bone over towards the left to flatten out that pelvis. Move the toes a little closer towards your head if you can, opening up just a little more on these last couple of breaths. And on an inhale, we'll draw that leg slowly back to center. Switch the hold so that you're holding with your left hand now. Right hand opens up to the side. Anchor down through that right hip. Keep the right side of the waist long and just draw that foot slightly over the midline. You'll feel that outer hip responding fairly quickly here if you anchor down. Pull the toes a little closer if it feels right. Getting a little deeper. Keeping left leg active. And then we're going to let that right hip leave the ground to roll over towards the left hip. Extending that leg a little further over, but keeping the right shoulder anchored. Inhale. Let's bring that leg back slowly. Bend your left leg, bring your foot to the ground. Grab onto both ends of the belt again, one in each hand. Pull the leg a little closer in towards your face. And gently hold that right knee. Move it over to the right to externally rotate the thigh and bring the foot onto your left thigh. You can remove the belts now if you like and just open up that knee. Check in with the squareness of the hips, equal length in your waist here. If it feels okay, you can lift that left foot off the ground. Rest your hands gently. But don't use them to pull, just use your belly muscles here. Teaching your belly to always support the low back. Relying on your internal strength. Breathe. Deep inhale, filling yourself up. And exhale, unwind. Extend your body, full body extension. And then bend your knees. Let yourself roll over onto your side and then onto your belly. Rest your head on your stacked hands. And just give your hips a little wiggle from side to side. We're going to move your left forearm in nice and close to your chest. Use that forearm to press your chest up and away from the earth. Bend your right leg. Reach around with that right hand and see if you can grab a hold of your ankle. If you can't, you can always use your strap to grab a hold of your foot and then press the front of this right hip back down into the earth. Pull your heel in towards your bottom and extend your kneecap towards the back of your mat here, lengthening out the front of your thigh. You can lie down again on the belly if it's comfortable for you, pulling in a little more strongly. And feed your muscles with the oxygen they need by breathing deeply. Slowly release that right leg down. Bring your right forearm back around, rest your head for a moment. Let the right forearm come in closer to your chest now. Reach back with that left one, grab onto the ankle. Keep your knee in line with your hip, so try not to splay your leg off to the side. Rest that left hip bone back down on the mat, and then gently apply a little downward pressure onto that hip bone. Pull the heel in towards your bottom. Lengthen the kneecap towards the end of the mat. And if you prefer, come to lay down, pulling in just a little closer, relaxing the upper body, lengthening that thigh. Slowly release the thigh back down to the earth. Take your hands now, place them alongside of your rib cage. Forehead resting, lift your shoulders. Hug your elbows into your sides. Press into the tops of your feet. Let's try to bring your feet a little closer together here. As you press into the feet, squeeze your bottom just a little and lift your heart. Exhale, gently lower down. Just check in with the sensation in your low back. If the low back needs more space, adjust your feet. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Press into your hands and knees now. Draw the belly up away from the earth as you come back towards child's pose. Soften your elbows. Start to scoop your chest ahead as you straighten your arms, lift your chin, lift your gaze. And then exhale. Round your spine, push back, child's pose. Soften your elbows to scoop and slide your chest forward and up, arching the back, inhaling. Exhaling, hug in, draw back again, child's pose. Last time, sliding, scooping up, drawing in and pressing back. Let the head rest down on the ground. Let your arms come back along your sides. Rest the back of your hands. Rest your shoulders. And then begin to slowly rise to sit on your heels. So we're going to come back to using the belt again here. I'm going to work from a kneeling position, sitting on a block, but you can work from a cross-legged position if you prefer, or sitting flat, or even coming up to rest on your shins. We're going to have the belt here in hand, and I recommend holding the belt probably just about a little wider than your thighs when you're sitting, or a little wider than your shoulders. Hold on, I always hold on to the buckle end of the belt so it's not free to swing around. And then press the belt forward in front of your chest. But press your chest towards that belt so that the arm bones plug in to the shoulder socket. From here, let the arms rise up overhead without lifting the shoulders. Just extend up through the triceps. They're nice and firm. Extend up through the sides of your waist. Begin to pull with your left hand until your right arm comes right up beside your head. Try not to lean your head or your body. Just move your arms in the shoulder socket, pulling with the right arm now to bring that left arm up beside your head. Come back to the center and slowly lower the belt back down in front of the body. Add a little more space between your hands now, so a little extra distance. Take the hands in front of your chest and pull the hands apart so you're adding some tension on that belt. Press your chest towards the belt, arms plugged in. Lift the belt above your head. Keep pulling on the belts, but then apply a little extra pull here on the right hand to bring that left arm close to your ear. And then we're going to pull through the center to the other side. Come back to center once again. Hold in the center. Take a deep breath in. Extend up. And then as you exhale, rotate. Try to keep the belt parallel to the floor and pull back here on that left shoulder. Come on back to center. Stay toned through that low belly space. And then keeping the belt parallel to the floor, pull back on your right shoulder. Drawing that shoulder blade right into the back body here, pressing up through the knuckles. Try not to bend your elbows. And then come on back to the center. Let that belt slowly lower down in front. And then take a moment here to circle out those shoulders before we go any further, just releasing any tension. Check how those shoulders feel. Deep, deep breaths. And we'll go one more time, keeping that same distance that you had, right in front of your chest. Press your chest towards the belt. Allow the belt to rise up as you breathe in. And now as you breathe out, press your straight arms back further to get that belt behind your head. Feeling a stretch start to come into place here across the front of your shoulders, across your chest. Try to draw your low ribs in. Slide an extra inch or two of belt between your hands. See if you can go back a little further. Breathe. All those areas of the chest and shoulders that are complaining here or contracting, see if you can soften. Give a little extra belt between your hands and see if you can get that belt right in behind the chest space. Opening up fully and completely. Breathe into sensation. There may be tingling. And eventually that belt will slowly lower all the way down to the back. Don't lose your grip. Hold on to that grip for me. And then begin to return. Press back with straight arms. Lift up the center of the heart space. Ease your way up through that sticky spot and come back around in front. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, back. Get to the back, you can release the belt down to the ground. Interlace your fingers behind your back for me now and press the knuckles down. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Find that sensation that you felt using the belt. Open up through the chest. Draw the shoulders apart. And then let those arms gently release. We're going to work just a little bit more into the hips before we come down to rest. So you can move your belt aside. You can remove your block from underneath you if you were using it. Come onto your hands and your knees. Extend your left leg out to the side. And then just begin to heel toe that foot a little further away. Walk your hands a little further left and see if you can drop your bottom back towards your right heel. Rest down onto your elbows here and just let yourself settle into this groin stretch. Trying to keep active through that extended leg. So try to press the sole of the foot down. Try to keep some length to your spine. Consider lifting your tailbone a little forward tilt of the pelvis to access the front of the groin space a bit more. 2 more breaths. I'm going to climb back up onto those hands. Heel toe the extended leg in a little bit closer. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders now. Pivot so that the leg is into alignment under your hip on the right. We're going to take that left leg, swing it all the way across the body over towards the right side. Plant your toe base down. Press your hips now over to the left and look over the shoulder towards the extended leg. You can let your left shoulder move away from the left hip towards the front, increasing that side bend in the body, the stretch in the hip. And then letting the eyes come to center first, letting your knee come back underneath your hip. And just walk back and forth on those kneecaps a couple of times. Sway your hips, move your ribs. And then we're going to come into the other side. So we'll extend your right leg out to the side here. Heel toe the foot a little further away. Walk your hands a little further towards the right. Drop your bottom down towards your left heel to whatever degree feels good. Drop your elbows. Try to lengthen your spine here, so a little lift to the heart, a little lift to the tailbone. Anchoring down into the sole of that foot. Stay active. Breath here. Make it the longest breath you've taken today. And whenever you feel ready, go ahead and climb back up onto your hands. Heel toe your foot in so that you feel stable, hands under shoulders, knee under hip. Before guiding that leg all the way around behind you to plant your toe base down over on the left side. Press your hips over to the right. Look over the shoulder towards the extended leg. And then let your right shoulder move forward even more. Deepening that side bend. Eyes come back to center. Leg comes back as well. So we have 2 options here. We're either going to come into wide-legged child's pose with the knees wide, the bottom back, or we're going to come into frog pose, taking the knees even wider than wide-legged child pose, but your toes are still together. So get the knees as wide apart as you can. You can provide cushioning with a blanket or folding your mat over if you need to underneath. Weight goes into your hands, so move your hips away from your heels. Slide those ankles out so now your shins are parallel to each other as well as parallel to the short side of the mat. And then we're going to lift your tailbone as you drop down onto your elbows. Use the forearms here to move your pelvis forward and back, sliding the tailbone back towards the heels and then a little bit forward. So this is very dynamic here. Slow, gentle movement in and out, away from the edge. The most intense part of your stretch, don't stay there. Just approach it and then move away. And after you've done that a few times, settling into a place that is somewhat moderate here. Letting the navel drop down, the tailbone lift up. Lift your heart. One more breath. Climbing back up onto your hands when you're ready. Drawing those big toes back together behind you. Inching those knees back in just a little bit at a time until eventually they come back directly together. Drop your bottom towards your heels. Walk your hands in a little bit closer. And then drop your bottom over to the right side of your heels. And then come back through the middle and over to the left side of your heels. And just come back and forth a couple of times, massaging out internally here the groin space, releasing the outer hips. And then eventually coming all the way over to one side to swing those legs around in front. We're going to extend your left leg off to 45. Bring your right heel directly into your groin space here, sitting up nice and tall on those sit bones. Foot is flexed, hand slides down towards your ankle. Other hand reaches off in the opposite direction. Try to lengthen up through those fingertips towards the top of the wall behind you. And then perhaps reach over your head, lengthening through the side body towards the big toe of that flexed foot. Stretching deeply through the side, but try not to collapse forward here. We want to lean that top shoulder back, opening up the chest. Relax into the left shoulder as you extend your right arm a little further over. Last breath. Both thighs pressing down. The next inhale, rise slowly. Take the extended leg here, cross it in front. Fold your body forward, palms to the ground. Walk the hands as far as they'll go. Bow your head in. Slowly rise back up nice and tall. Extending this time your right leg off to the side. Hug that left heel right into the groin space. Both thighs press down. Sit really tall on the sit bones. Feel them anchored. Slide the hand down towards the flexed foot. Left hand now extends the opposite way, creating a nice straight line across the back of your shoulder blades, fingertips to fingertips. And if it's available, start to lift up a little higher and perhaps over towards the big toe. Pressing down in your thighs, leaning back with that left shoulder. Right shoulder relaxed. One more breath. And then slowly, slowly rise. Take the extended leg, cross it in front. We're going to fold forward again. This time the back of your hands are going to rest down on the ground, offering up a level of acceptance, of receptiveness, of openness. And as you let your body rise, let those hands come to rest right at your heart space. Close your eyes. Feel the rhythm of your heart, your own natural, unique rhythm. Having started that deeper internal connection, let's just allow ourselves now to roll back onto the back body, returning to our original position here with the knees bent, the feet flat, feet at the edges of the mat, thighs together. Keep resting the hands at the heart if that feels appropriate for you. Notice your body, notice how it feels. Notice any subtle shift or change that's occurred with your intentional movement. Let your hands just release to a comfortable position on the floor beside you. Separate your knees. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, let your knees drift back over towards the right side. Notice if it feels any different here than it did at the start of class. Inhaling through the center and then over to the left. Come back to center, breathing in. Breathing out over to the right side. Just linger here. Turn your head towards the left. Draw your shoulders a little away from your ears. Slide them down towards your hips. Tucking the shoulder blades together underneath you. Nice, slow, easy inhale brings the knees and the eyes back to center. And as you exhale, we're going to come over to the other side. A little intentional downward action on the legs here. Not a lot of force though, just be mindful. Eyes turn gently to the right. Inhale, guide yourself back to center. Heel toe your feet back into the center line of your mat. Let your knees drift apart. Soles of the feet come together. Bend your elbows a little here so that your upper body can be open and relaxed as well. Just letting yourself surrender into the shape of an open heart and open hips. Close your eyes and become aware of your physical body here. Where can you release muscles and relax joints so that you find yourself sinking just a little deeper into the earth? Notice your breathing. And the next time you naturally inhale, just bring your legs back together. Heel toe your feet apart. And extend your legs out, taking up lots of space with your body. These few moments in stillness here, let the awareness move from your physical body into your feelings. Acknowledge any feelings that are resting with you in this moment. We are meant to feel. Not to hide or suppress the feelings. Just let them ripple through you, releasing what you need to, embracing what you need to. Indulging in this stillness. Allowing yourself just to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. When you are ready to move, just let yourself come to a seated position. Take it slowly and gently. And either from lying down or from your seated position, we'll seal the practice together. May you be healthy. May you be happy. May you be at peace. Be gentle with yourself as we navigate through these difficult times. My heart bows to yours. Namaste.